Hi everyone, it's Shannon. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so very much to Arteza for sponsoring today's video. If you enjoy handmade items and home decor, please hit that subscribe button because I bring you new DIYs, tutorials, and new inspiration every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You can hit the bell too so you get notified when those videos go live. And for today's tutorial, I actually have 3 farmhouse style home decor pieces using felt. So let's go ahead and get started with our projects. All right, so let's get started with our first project. We're gonna be working on the felt letterboard, which I love this project. You can find these a lot. However, I feel like this is such a fun way to really personalize and make these whatever color you want. So the first few items are, of course, you're going to need felt. So Arteza has 2 different sizes here, like an 8x10 size and a 12x14 size. And it comes with 50 different colors. And we're gonna be using these throughout the tutorial today. And then we also have, I have this really large self-healing mat from Arteza, and that's covering my work surface because we're going to be doing a lot of cutting today. And it came with these great different rulers, which are also guides for cutting because we're going to be using this as well. It's a rotary cutter. And then we also have a miter box here. We actually have dowel rods here that are 3/16 inch size, so we need our miter box and handsaw to cut those down. Really, really simple and easy. Don't let that scare you. And my store only had 2 packs of these, and I'm kind of afraid I might need more. So I grabbed my barbecue skewers. So this would be another alternative. These are really, really inexpensive. You get like a whole big pack of these for $1, so it might be even a little bit more economical to use barbecue skewers. These are just a little bit more hefty, which is why I would like to use these primarily. These are kind of backup. I also have my hot glue gun and glue sticks, and then you'll also need a picture frame. You could even use a shadow box. Mine is an 8x10 size, but I love this again because you can really create the size that you want and the size that you need, make it bigger, make it smaller. So I'm actually gonna be making mine really, really plain and simple just because then it will go with everything. So I have a white frame. This was only $2. I believe it was $1.98 possibly. And then I'm gonna be using white felt. This actually is metallic. So these came out of those sets over here. This is sort of like a stiff felt, but some of them, like the neon, and there's glitter ones. Yes, there's glitter ones. I love glitter, so those are gonna be fun to work with in another project. And there's also metallic ones in those sets, but the back is white. So this is a little bit more pliable, so I grabbed the metallic ones out, and I'm not going to use the metallic side. However, that would be really, really cool if you did this whole technique and use the metallic instead of the white. That would be super pretty too. So the first thing I'm going to do is start cutting down my dowel rods, and you have to cut them down to the width of the back of your frame because you're going to be setting these in there upside or backwards. You're not going to be setting them in from the front, you're going to set them in from the back. So this one here is an 8x10 size, so my opening is 8 inches wide. So I'm gonna cut all of my dowel rods down to 8 inches long. To make this project go a little bit more quicker, I decided that I was gonna try to cut multiple skewers down to size at the same time, and that didn't quite work right. They just moved around a little bit too much. So I got my painter's tape out and folded some over about 5 or 6 at a time and then cut them down to size. That way they didn't move around so much, and that technique worked much better. All right, so now that we have our dowel rods cut down to size, we're gonna work on cutting down our felt. I'm using this self-healing cutting mat that's from Arteza, and I love this size because it is the perfect size to cover up my kitchen counter that I'm working on. It's about 2 foot wide by 3 foot long. They do have a bunch of different other sizes too, but I love this one just because it is perfect for the area that I'm working in, and it actually came as a whole set. So I actually got 3 different ones of these cutting rulers or cutting guides, and also this rotary cutter, and then it also came with an extra blade too, and it was really, really affordable. I'll put it down in the description box below so you can check that out if you're needing something like this for your workspace or your craft room. So this mat is really nice because it has all of these guidelines on it. So I'm just lining up my felt sheet here. This is a smaller, like 8.5 by 11 size on one of the darker lines. And then every 2 squares is 1 inch, and I want to cut these down to 1 inch long. So each one of the darker lines is where I'll be cutting on. I'm just going to line up my cutting ruler here so that I have 1 inch. I have 2 squares showing, and then I'm going to use my rotary cutter, which has a safety lock on it so that you can lock this into place and then it's not dangerous. And once you release that safety, then you can cut with the blade, and you just run your blade pressing down into the felt up along the ruler, and you have a perfectly straight cut piece of felt. Now of course, if you don't have all of this, you could use scissors too. This just makes it go a little bit quicker. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and go down through all of this felt and cut all of these strips. So basically you're going to need to cut enough strips to cover all of your skewers with, or your dowel rods with. So I cut down about 32 of them, which I did need more than that. So keep that in mind depending on the size of your picture frame. And then what you do is you take your hot glue and you're just going to fold your felt around the dowel rod and make sure you secure it in the back. The back, you're not going to see it all. You just want to make sure that the front is nice and smoothed out so you'll have a nice look once you put them in the picture frame. Once all of your dowel rods are covered with felt, you want to take your hot glue and place it into the lip of your picture frame and then secure your dowel rods into place. Now, like I said, I needed a few more than what I had on hand, so I would suggest 3 packages of these dowel rods if you're going to be doing an 8x10 size. And another tip is to make sure you put these in tightly up against each other, because I think that your letters and your numbers will stay in there a lot more securely than mine did. If I had a few more skewers, I probably would have stuck them in there, but you just want to make sure you're putting these in there evenly so that it looks nice once you flip your picture frame over to see the felt board revealed. This was a really fun project to create, and I love that you can really personalize this and create this to the same colors that you would like for your home. These will be really pretty in pastels for the spring or neutral colors for the fall. Let me know down in the comments below, which colors would you create yours to be if you recreated this project. So my last project was super fun and really simple and easy, and now we're going to move on to our second project. We're going to be making a farmhouse style embroidery hoop wreath. So of course you'll need an embroidery hoop. This one is about 8 or 9 inches wide, but of course you can use whatever size you want. These are really inexpensive from the craft store. And then I also have my Arteza felt out, and you can use whatever colors you'd like. These are kind of fun colors for the summertime. I also have Arteza's fabric markers. This is a set of 30, so there are a ton of colors in there for us to choose from to use on our felt. And then I have a stash of greenery and flowers, so I brought some of my greenery up so we can add some of that to sort of accent our felt flowers. And then I also have my glue gun and glue sticks ready to go again. To get started, I had a little strip of white felt left over from our felt board project, and I just dovetailed the ends, which gave it a really nice finish. And I used the black Arteza fabric marker to write hello on this. You could really personalize this to say whatever message you'd like. I really liked these markers because they have 2 different ends. They have a skinny end or a thin end and a thicker, bolder end, so it was really nice that I could sort of thicken up the lines after I had my original design created. Then I just sandwiched that piece of felt in between the embroidery hoops and tightened it down so it would stay secured. And now it's time to work on our felt flowers. We had lots of fun colors to choose from here with the Arteza felt. I chose some bright, summery, fun colors. I have a summer coffee bar and a lemon theme, so I chose this beautiful yellow color and just cut some simple petal shapes out and cut little slits in the bottom and the skinnier end, and then folded those on top of each other. And that gives our petals a little bit of volume, and it will give it a nice detail once we go to glue them around the center. And now to work on the center of our flower, I'm just cutting a long length of felt from some ivory Arteza felt, and then cutting little slits down the whole length of the felt, and then rolling it up onto itself using some hot glue to secure it. And then you just want to start layering your petals around the center of your flower and building it up, and then you'll just bend your petals back and you'll have a beautiful full looking summery flower. Onto our next flower. This is the center we're working on first. I just cut 2 long lengths of skinny felt from this turquoise color and made sort of a wavy edge before rolling it onto itself with some hot glue. Now for the petals of this flower, I cut lengths of the ivory felt and then cut some tall skinny petals throughout this, making it one continuous line of petals, and then again just glued this around the center of the flower, building onto itself. And last, I wanted a cute little extra flower to just sort of fill in space, so I cut a circle out of the ivory felt and then cut a spiral, and then once I got to the middle I left a little circle in the middle, and then that's the center of this flower. So I sort of just built and spun the spiral onto itself, and that gave me a cute little rosette flower. Once all of my elements were hot glued onto the embroidery hoop, I decided to make a cute little flower to accent the banner, and that really helped to tie the whole look together. I love this cute little dainty wreath. It's such a fun and pretty little accent to your home's decor, but you could really take this idea and create a bigger wreath, even add lots of flowers to it and make a beautiful wreath for your front door. I really enjoy working with felt as a craft medium. You can create so many wonderful things with it, and I'll link down in the description box below the 2 Arteza bundles that I've been using today. So I'll have those linked down in the description box below if you'd like to check those out. And I hope these tutorials are inspiring you. Please give this video a thumbs up if it is. That helps out my channel so very, very much.
Alright, so let's move on to our third project. We're going to be creating a farmhouse style beaded garland. So of course you'll need some wood beads. I've done 2 other DIY projects using these wood beads, creating a similar style garland. So if you want to check those out, I'll link those down in the description box below. But these are natural wood beads that I've just chalk painted white, so that step's taken care of. You can leave them natural or neutral if you want. Of course, we're going to be using Arteza's felt again. I pulled out a bright green color, and then you'll need a really sharp pair of scissors. We're also going to be using Arteza's fabric paint here. This is a set of 30, so look at all of these beautiful colors that come in this kit. I think that's so pretty. It comes with neon colors, the glow in the dark, there's basic colors, there's neutral colors, bright colors, so all kinds of good stuff in here. So we're going to use some of that to distress our leaves with. And then also this set comes with stencils, if you can believe that. I opened the box and I was surprised to find some extra goodies in there. There's stencils. And there's also paintbrushes, so some extra little things to get you started creating if you order that set, and I'll link that down below if you want to check that out. And then the other things that we'll need for this project are some jute. You want some really thin jute, nothing too thick.
because we're also going to need a needle. And this is a pretty big needle. It's for like heavy fabrics, but I wanted something that was going to have a big enough needle hole in it for me to feed the jute through, so we can feed that through our felt too. Then I have a paper plate so I can use the fabric paints a little bit later. So let's go ahead and get started. For this, all you have to do is cut little strips of felt and create your own smaller sized leaf shapes. I stacked my felt one on top of each other so I'd get double the amount of leaves without having to cut too many times. And then once you have all of your leaves cut down to size, all I did was use Arteza's fabric paint. I'm using the sap green and the burnt umber, and also they're provided paint brushes from this set to just give the leaves a little bit more texture and life instead of just being flat green felt. So it's a good way to add some extra detail to your projects. And luckily the fabric paint by Arteza dried really quickly for me, so I was able to move on to the next step. And I just fed my jute through that heavy needle that I mentioned earlier. And then I started feeding my beads on, and then I would add a couple of the felt leaves. So it's up to you how you want to do your pattern. I believe I did 2 beads and then 2 leaves, and then 3 beads and then 2 leaves, and then went back to the 2 beads and 2 leaves. So I would feed on 2 leaves at a time. It just depends on how you want yours to look in the end, and I'll give you a close-up look of what mine looks like with that pattern. Once you have your beaded garland to the length that you want to make sure to leave those tails long on the jute. And we're going to use the Arteza larger size felt for this, the 12 by 14 size, and create our own felt tassels. So I'm just cutting my felt down to 1/2 inch wide instead of the full inch like we did for the felt board. And we're going to gather these together and create a bundle, and we're going to fold those in half. You're going to wrap the top of your folded end with jute, and that's going to keep it all in place. And then you just cut the tails off so that you have a nice flat and even end to your tassel look. And now we're going to use those ends of jute that we left long on the garland, feed your needle back through, and then you're going to use your needle to go through the tops of your tassels and then tie your tails of the beaded garland securely to keep your tassels in place. All 3 of these projects were so very simple to create and so fun as well. Let me know down in the comments below which one was your favorite and which one do you think you'll be trying to create for your own home. Thank you so very much again to Arteza for sponsoring today's video. I will make sure to link down in the description box below all of the supplies that I used in today's tutorial, along with a coupon code that is exclusive to TheDailyDIYer viewers, so make sure to check that out. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up for me, subscribe and stick around because I bring you DIYs every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'll see you all next time. Bye everyone.